go for another hike before it snows. It's supposed to snow in a couple days because I checked the weather network. However, I also did notice while I'm walking that the birds are going crazy. We got cardinals, blue jays, juncos, just going nuts, and they're ground feeding. They're going nuts. Because they're all going crazy, you know something's going to happen. The weather's going to change, the barometer's changing, especially blue jays. They all gather and go nuts during or just before a storm. But also if they're low to the ground and feeding off the ground, they know that that ground's going to be covered in snow soon. So you know snow's coming. Why I'm out here today? I'm going mullein hunting. I love mullein. It's a fascinating plant. I just can't get enough of how it's been used in the past, and from the flowers, the yellow flowers, the Romans would use it to dye their hair yellow, to even crushing the seeds and throwing that powder into the water to stun the fish so you can get them, which is illegal. But let's get to it. I'll go over all these things and give you some examples and some lookalikes and some poisonous stuff that looks like it as well. Mullein's been used for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. It's throughout all the history books. I think even Shakespeare even mentioned it. I know there's in a bunch of plays that I think Snow White even used it. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's everywhere. Mullein, let's have a look. Awesome. Okay, here we go. This is mullein, and yeah, it's a ground plant, low to the ground. But it's also biannual. It's not perennial. So it actually grows the one year and then uses all its energy the next year or the year after to grow a big stalk, and I'll show you that in a sec. And then it dies off. So perennial would actually keep growing everywhere where it grows. So this has been used for years and years and years, and I'll go over that in a bit, what it's used for. But well, I can tell you right now, one term is called cowboy's toilet paper. Let's see if I can get the leaf here. I just found on the ground. There's a fuzz to it, both on the back end and the front end, and it's really soft. In fact, the Latin term is mulleis, which is soft. And I don't know if I would use it for toilet paper, because the Quakers, so that the women used to rub it on their cheeks to make their cheeks rosy. So obviously that's going to make your other cheeks rosy as well. So just think about that. Well, you could use it as toilet paper. There's other terms too I'll go over anyway in a bit. But there are some lookalikes. Lamb's ear, which actually pretty much looks like it as well. It's a smaller plant. Its leaves are more dull at the point. And the hairs on it are, I hope I can find some. The hairs on it are more hairy than fuzzy. And it doesn't have that rose hip growing out of it. So there's the centerpiece, and it comes out of the ground. That's where its root is. Really soft root too. Not a soft root, a short root. It leaves the soil really easily. But anyway, the centerpiece looks like a rose coming out, and whereas the lamb's ear does not have that. Lamb's ear also has a longer stalk going into the root system, and also its opposite arrangement. And it doesn't get the stalk, like I'll show you in a bit, the stalk that this guy gets, or this plant gets. But the first year, neither gets the stalk, right? So you might get confused. The other one you might get confused too, and you really need to look at, is one called foxglove, and I can't find it around here. I thought it was around here, but it's poisonous. So this, I'll show you a bunch of medicinal things you can use this plant for, and it's been used for hundreds of years for it. But yeah, foxglove is poisonous. It's a lookalike. It doesn't have the fuzz. It also has, it's more of a leathery leaf than a fuzzy leaf, actually. And gosh, I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll just find a picture of it to show you. But yeah, this is definitely mullein, okay? The rose hip right there is a giveaway too. Okay, here it is here. So once again, just looking at it close, a little fuzzy. Lamb's ear, difference is it has more of a hair on it than fuzziness. But also lamb's ear has a silver bottom to it because it looks like a lamb's ear. This does not have that silver to it. The rosette gives it away, like I showed though. And the lamb's ear doesn't get a stalk, then I'll show you that as well in the second or third year. But when it's first coming out of the ground like it is here, it's not going to have the stalk. So it could be lamb's ear, and it could be leafwort. Or not leafwort, was it? No, foxglove, sorry. And foxglove has a leathery feel to it, and not fuzzy like this. And I think it's more venular, actually. It has a lot more serrations to it, but don't get me, I might be wrong with that one, but it's also poisonous. But this has been used for years to ail a lot of things. Our athlete's foot, hemorrhoids, but the main thing is lung ailments like tuberculosis. So you make a tea out of it if you like, or you get the dry stuff, or dry this stuff here during the summer, dry it on your own, and you make a smudge out of it. So you breathe in the smoke. It sounds kind of silly if you're going to do that because you've got lung issues. Why are you breathing in smoke? But you make a smudge out of it, and it actually clears out the mucus or the tar out of your lungs, and that's been used for years for that. It's also called beggar's blanket because it's really soft, right? So and really fuzzy and thick. So people with not a lot of money back in the day would slip this into their shoes or boots to keep them warm, or inside their blankets. If you cut it, it has a kind of mineral smell to it, like even a dusty mineral smell to it. Where lamb's here smells really nice, aromatic. Okay. All right, I think I went over all that, and now I'm going to go to the stalk. And when you see the stalk, you're like, yeah, I've seen that before, and it's really cool. This is why I like spending time out showing all this stuff. This is really cool stuff. All right, wait for it. Okay, I found one right here. Look at this. And it's not that tall. I've seen them a lot taller, up to 8 feet tall. And it's said that the taller they are, the more harsh the winter is going to be. And that makes sense, actually. So yeah, what this mullein does, it's biannual, remember? So it uses the first year, maybe the second year, to grow on the ground and get energy, and then it uses all that energy from the leaves and the root system to create this stalk. And because it uses all its energy doing that, it dies afterwards. So it doesn't keep growing back, it disperses its seeds and grows back, yes, but it's got a really weak root system too, just falls to the ground afterwards. And whole bunch of things about this. First of all, it's called Aaron's rod. Well, there's a whole bunch of names for it, but Aaron's rod is one name. The high priestess in the Bible had a golden staff, right, which shined on the top. Well, it gets yellow flowers, and that's why it's called Aaron's rod. It looks like his staff. The flowers, yellow flowers, don't come out all at once. They all come out in little clusters here and there. That's kind of cool. They make a really nice tea, really good for your lungs. Clears it all out, and yeah, so it makes a really nice tea, just like the leaves. The leaves dry. Let's see if this works. Actually, it's not too dry today. It was raining last night. Makes a really good fire starter. So let's see if we can get her going here. Oh yeah. All right. Really holds the coal really nicely. Let's see if we can get that. Okay. So if you use one of those strikers, it works really well on a striker. That's fantastic. And again, smudge, clear your lung out. I don't smoke, but all right. So that's kind of cool. The other is that you can use this to make part of the drill of a bow drill. So I've seen a lot bigger ones than this. This is a really hardy stem. So you can cut it all off and shave it all down, make it smooth, and do this. Like, you know how you rub the stick back and forth into a little hole? I should do that one day and show you guys. Or use this for your bow drill. So this is the drill portion of it. And lower to the stem, lower to the root is the harder it is. I know in bigger ones, people have actually cut this in half and used the half of this as their base of the bow drill. And if you do that, remember, cut the hole, but also put a little notch in it to aerate it, and then use this for your bow drill, and you've got everything all in this one plant. It's also called witch's candle because this thing they would use for torches. For many years. If you look at history, they would use these as torches. Now what they would do is either soak this in animal fat, lard, or resin, just get some resin out of a pine and melt that down and do that, or get a whole bunch of old wax, melt that down, put the wax on it, and you have a good torch. I don't know if it will work because it was again raining, but let's see. It's going, but it needs soaked in something. It's wet, right? So I have to dry this out at home. Yeah, it's soaking wet. Anyway, sorry about that, all the excitement, but it does work really well as a torch. The seed dispersal, it can have 100 to 200,000 seeds in it, and the seeds are dispersed on the ground. They don't need soil to go on top of them. They actually need sunlight to hit them. So you can tell most of these all dispersed already. It's got to be dry here, the light. I want to show you that. It makes a great torch. Darn. Oh yeah. Here we go. It holds its coal really nicely. So I can see if you put resin on it, it would last for a good 45 minutes as a torch. So it's holding its coal. Smoking coming out, but I'm gonna dry this at home and make a torch out of it for you. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, it really holds its coal well. So I can see how this would work. The other thing is that, you know, this is illegal, and I'll tell you why it's illegal in a sec. In fact, I was wondering if I should even tell you about it, but the seeds in here have a chemical compound, actually 4 different chemicals, that when ground up and made into a powder, if you threw it into a stream, the fish would be stunned and they'd float to the surface, just like if you did an electrode to them if you're doing fisheries work. And then, you know, you'd pick them up and eat them. And I'd cook them first. I cook them first, but because that is a toxin that's in there. And 4 toxins, I forget the one. I'll list them all down, but the one is the main toxin that stuns them. Does it kill the fish? No, it could kill them, but it stuns them. Why is it illegal? Because it's too easy to do that. The whole idea of the Fisheries Act is that, you know, it can't be too easy. It's like you can't shoot a deer or a moose while it's swimming. Well, why not? Well, it's too easy. It's not sportsmanlike. So, but if in a survival situation, or back in the day when, you know, they had to cultivate some fish, they would do that. Now, they wouldn't do that every single year in the same spot, because obviously you wouldn't have any fish left anymore, but it's a good way to catch fish. There's another, there's a whole bunch. The soybeans has it, the same compound, the chemical. What's it called? The snowberries or ghostberries, waxberries, the same thing. And they had the same thing. I think they only have the main compound, not the 4 chemicals. But yeah, it stuns the fish or takes the oxygen out of their gills as well. Okay, so here's the berry I was talking about. It has the same chemical reaction that mullein seeds do for fish. Yeah, so therefore it's poisonous. Okay, don't eat the seeds. And it'll make you vomit, make you dizzy, and it actually gives you a slight sedation. So, yeah. And you can use it as a shampoo if you want, or antiperspirant, or hand lotion. But don't eat them. So yeah, and it's kind of cool. So this is snowberry. The other name is ghostberry. I think they call them waxberry as well. The seeds have the same substance that sapin-sopin. That's how you pronounce it. Sapin-sopin. As soybeans, soapwort, baby's breath, and actually carbonated beverages like root beer to keep the head on the root beer. So I'm going to show you another thing that I know as growing up as a kid with these berries. What's the term for it? My dad used to call them Billy Busters. I'll show you why. Okay, the old Irish term Billy Busters. I believe they're called Billy Busters. When I step on them, you'll hear them pop, like broken glass. Nope. Let me try them in my hand. They're supposed to pop. I think they're frozen. Actually, that's what's going on. Yeah, sorry, if they're dry, they pop. Sounds like broken glass. I swear they do. Blah, blah, blah. All right, mullein. Hope I didn't say mullet too many times. I think I did. No, it's not mullet, even though I had a mullet when I was growing up. John Denver glasses, beads around me. Oh my lord. I hope this helped you. This is my way of teaching still. I've talked about this before in my other videos, but yeah, once again, I don't have to bore you, but I'm no longer teaching my students anymore after I don't know how many years, like over three and a half decades. And I miss it, but there's other ways to teach. And what I've been doing lately, the last couple of months, is walk around here because I just moved. I'm right, actually where I am right now is near Amherst View. Amherst Island is right across Lake Ontario over there. And totally different habitat for me. Totally dry. This is where mullein would grow, really dry, arid place. And lots of red cedar, which are juniper, lots of limestone, lots of shale, not shale, limestone anyway. But yeah, I'm learning a lot, and I like that, learning a lot. So I hope you're learning with me. And yeah, let me know if these are helpful. Let me know if, yeah, Kevin, these are the most boringest things you've ever done. I don't know, this is what I do. So thanks a lot for coming out, and let's have a look around, see if we can find the other two. Lamb's ear's got to be here somewhere. If not, I'll go to the Michael's art place and show you the fake stuff. Thanks for coming out.